Good evening, everybody. Welcome to FIlmSnobbery Live. I'm your host, the film snob, Nic Baisley. We are back. We are live. We are on a new internet connection. I'm actually very, very excited. This is a brand new connection. We actually had it installed this morning just for you people so we can make sure that we deliver the highest quality stream that we possibly can when the computer decides to work with us as well. We have a fantastic show for you guys tonight. We have a contest, of course, one that we haven't had for a while. I'm really looking forward to doing it, courtesy of First Glance Film Festivals. And we've got a great guest today that is going to tie into a lot of things we've been talking about lately. We're going to talk a little bit about crowdfunding. We're going to talk about movies. We're going to talk about film festivals. We're going to talk about life and the meaning of everything. And it's going to be awesome. And I'm going to put all of that on the shoulders of our guest, the director of 10 Till Noon, Official Rejection, and the upcoming Favor, Mr. Paul Osborne. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not even going to waste any time with this. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest for this evening, director Paul Osborne.
How you doing, guys? How you doing, Nick?
I am doing fantastic, sir. It's great to have you on the show, and great to. I'm very looking forward to speaking with you and everything. Getting into everything you've been doing since last time we chatted, when you were pimping out Official Rejection.
Right.
And I love that movie. We were talking a little bit before the show. I passed that flick around. It's still in regular rotation. I love that movie. And because like you said, it was an honest look at the behind the scenes kind of stuff of what happens at some of the festivals and some of the hardships and stuff. Now I got to ask, how much shit did you get from film festivals? Was there any fallout from stuff for releasing something like that? Specifically, even the festivals that were covered.
Well, actually, before I answer that, I have to correct something in your intro. So I'm already a jerk guest.
Of course you are.
Well, I didn't actually direct 10 Till Noon. I wrote it. I produced it with my buddy Scott, but my friend Scott Storm directed it. So
yes, that's right.
Put it out that if Scott is listening and he hears me say that, I didn't correct you.
I get confused.
Limelight.
I get confused because he was the subject in Official Rejection. He was,
right.
And that's why I think there was a bit of a disconnect. So sorry.
Right.
Come on. Look, I'm a journalist. I don't need facts. Okay. Facts get in the way of a good story.
Exactly. That's what I say. But the fact is, he'll punch my lights out if I dare to take credit for directing a movie, which he did, and he did an excellent job on. So, in fact, we may be retaining again for something else soon with him directing. So, the nice thing about making smaller movies is that, it doesn't have to be just one of us directing. I can make one, he can make one, and I'm the writer, so he may be doing one of mine pretty soon. But back to your original question with Official Rejection, we did get it's funny, like, I think it was a real even split between festivals, how they reacted. Like, some were very much like, yes, this is how it is. You captured it. It's painful to watch, but there it is. I can count, I think, like 20 festivals that contacted me at some point, and they changed something that they do because of the movie. Like, they changed the way they do business because of the movie. And sometimes it was small things, like reducing the amount of ads in their swag bags. And sometimes it was bigger things, like making sure that every film got to play the good venue. But a lot of festivals changed the way they did business because of the film. So we did have a positive impact. But there were certainly a fair number of festivals that were pretty upset about it and weren't too happy. I got a great email today, actually, and this is the thing that makes my day. Like, I get one every once in a while, something like this. But I got a message on Facebook from a guy who, I guess, I don't even remember this. Apparently, my friend Byron was pimping out Official Rejection on Facebook maybe a year ago, talking about, my friend's movie's out on DVD or whatever. And a friend of his, who I don't know, who I guess is a programmer at Slamdance, chimed in and said, "This movie sounds awful. This can't possibly be good." And he started like bad-mouthing, aside on seeing, bad-mouthing the movie. This is, what kind of crap is this? Some whiny-ass filmmaker. Maybe you didn't get into the festivals because your film sucks, jerk, and stuff like that. Anyway, the email was from him. He sent me an email. He saw the movie, I guess, last night, and he wrote an email and said, "Hey, remember when I made those disparaging comments on our mutual friend Byron's chain about your movie, and you were gracious enough not to attack back, and I looked like a complete jerk? Well, I just saw your movie, and I really loved it, and I wish Slam Dance had programmed it. So I'm conceding the point. Hats off to you, sir." And then he went on to say that his roommate also watched it with him, loved it, and was so incensed at what happened to Blaine Weaver in Chicago. Mm-hmm. He called that guy's number, Lee Allen's number that was on the screen.
Yep.
Apparently it's still connected.
Really?
Yeah, and he left him a real big-ass nasty message. So as of last night, you can still call Lee Allen on that cell phone and complain about his treatment of filmmakers.
I wish I knew that. I would have flashed the number on the screen tonight. That's awesome.
This was this morning. This is like, oh, what a great thing to kind of, when you fire up the computer to find in the morning. Someone talking about how cool your movie is that didn't expect to like it.
Now, have there been any negative ramifications? I mean, obviously, there's people who talk about stuff, but have there been any other negative ramifications for official rejection? Getting out there, people, I can't imagine people are protesting it, but do you feel, I guess, in your professional career that has hurt you in any way, or that it's only helped in kind of getting not only your message that you intended to get out there, but also has it gotten you out more as a filmmaker and had that kind of, it's great to have a positive influence on the festival structure, but how about your career? Are you making a shekel or two? I'm worried about Paul Osborne. I like to make sure he's okay,
Well, in terms of there's nothing negative yet. In terms of money, well, we're still in the hole on this movie. Like every indie filmmaker, we're always in the hole on every movie. That's just the way that it works. I mean, money's. The good news is that official rejection was technically self-distributed. Right. So we did it with partnerships with Amazon and a partnership with Without a Box, but technically it's self-distributed. So every unit that gets sold, a piece does come back. Excellent. So money has been trickling in to the people that put the money up. One of them is me. We're still in the hole in the movie, but I mean it's coming back in as opposed to 10 Till Noon, which was traditionally distributed and. Other than our advance, we have made a bloody dime. Nothing that's completely, the stream's completely cut off. I mean, that's our distributor is quite shady on that movie. So with official rejection, people are always like, oh, I'll buy it and support you. And I'm like, great. With Tintin, they go, I'll buy it and support you. I'll say, why don't you just rip a copy? Because we don't see a dime. I can't give you one that would violate my contract, but I'm sure you could rip it off the web. I'm sure you can, whatever. But in terms of negative ramifications, nothing yet. I mean, official rejection got a lot. I mean, the reviews that we got overall were ones that could have been better if we wrote them ourselves. We were very, very blessed with a really positive, kind of overwhelmingly positive reaction from filmmakers, from critics, from the press, and then in terms of the festivals. The ones that like us, which is about 2/3, I found, and they like us. They really like us. Like they remember us. They talk about us. They find me on Facebook or Twitter. They talk to me. Festivals that rejected us, I find the programmers that fought for us on the inside. Mm-hmm. Find me. Like one of my best friends on Twitter is a programmer at the Seattle International Film Festival who fought for the movie to be programmed and lost. Huh. So after the film didn't get programmed, she sought me out and apologized. I'm sorry I got rejected. I really fought for it. And I'm like, I never knew. I met her over Twitter after the fact. And it was, so there's been a lot of positive response that way. And the festivals that don't like us, I think don't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk to me. They don't want to bring it up. They want to pretend it doesn't exist. Because if they talk about it, it just stirs the debate. It just gets it out there. Right. It continues the conversation. So the festivals that don't like us tend to just sort of just not talk about it. They just kind of, they just mum's the word, they don't go on about it, and that's so far, it's been kind of a course of approval. Now, of course, once my new film's done, and I take the festival circuit, we'll find out what's happened. We'll find out where I've been completely blackballed. Nice. I get a call from, Trevor Groth at Sundance. So, I see you submitted your film Favor to our festival, you ass. You're on a dartboard. So I have a film at our festival. We're going to put this on the internet and ruin your chance of distribution. It's on YouTube now.
I love how you took the evilness and you made them British as they should be.
Took Trevor Groth, who's probably a very nice guy, and I just turned him into one of Darth Vader's lieutenants.
Oh yeah, totally. No, he was like Admiral Mahdi about to be all strangled. No. This film festival is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Yeah, exactly.
The rebels, they're here.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, we found the rebel base. They sent a movie out. Follow the movie. There's the rebel base. Destroy it. Kill Paul Osborne.
Oh, that would make myself an Ewok, I think.
You know what I am, though? I'm like, you ever Jabba the Hutt? I'm the little laughing thing next to Jabba the Hutt.
Salacious Crumb. That was that character's name.
Salacious Crumb. There you go.
Where he was all like, yeah.
He's a happy guy. You got to give that to him. He's not an unpleasant person.
Absolutely. You know, he's that yes man that's on your tail is definitely the man to have. I call him Jerry.
Jerry.
But
and Jerry, thank you for that $1, by the way. Very generous of you, sir.
I was talking to Nick about this before, and I don't want to go in too far into it, but I have some problems with my credit card company right now, and I wanted to donate more, and I was like, I don't have much time. I'm just going to donate $1 to support.
Aww.
But, yeah.
Now, to be fair, Jerry's having issues with his credit card company, not like someone else that we know who's having issues with their credit card company.
Yeah, I should probably clarify that.
It's
false charges that I'm disputing, and it's getting taken care of, but it's taking a lot longer than I thought to get the charges off my card. So I only have like $30 to live the rest of the month. So I got to give him something to support him.
So what we should do is start a crowdfunding campaign for Jerry so that he doesn't end up on the street.
Start a campaign to give me money so I can give money to other campaigns.
No, we've tried. The funny thing is, we've tried that and it didn't work, and I thought that was absolutely ridiculous. But that speaking of campaigns, you've got a campaign that is going on. Actually, was just successful for your movie Favor. You guys can go out there and check it out, favormovie.com. Also, it's on Kickstarter. Kick in an extra $1 or $2. You know, tell us a little bit about Favor, if you could, and why why did you go the crowdfunding route?
Well, first let me just clarify that you said it's successful. Yeah, we're over our goal, but we still have 24 and a half hours for money. If you want to put money in, you still can. Just so you know, it hasn't reached our deadline yet. Our goal, but not our deadline. Just FYI. Just wanted to say that. But basically, and we have a new incentive. Our goal was $20,000. If we go 10% over our goal to $22,000, I have had my parents forward me the most embarrassing baby picture ever taken of a human being. It happens to be of me. And if we hit that, I will release this photo. I will never get laid again, and I will have no political career, but it'll be out into the world, and because making this movie is more important to me than those things at the moment. But Favor is it's not a documentary like Official Rejection. It's more of a 10 till noon thing. It's a dramatic thriller that I've written and I'm directing. I wrote it for my pal Blaine Weaver, my pal Patrick Day.
Blaine is in the chat room. He's already he's busy linking everyone over to Amazon.com for Official Rejection and chatting it up with us here. So Blaine, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. And for Blaine and the other gentleman was again?
Patrick Day.
Yes.
Is the other actor. Who, it's amazing. He was in Ernest Goes to Camp.
Ernest Goes to Camp.
Yes, as a child actor. He's he's the leader of the bad boys that Ernest has to watch over and reform.
You know, I will say, the longer I stay in the business here, the more people from my childhood that I run into. I was at the Orlando Film Festival in November, and I ran into the guy who played the main bad guy's henchman on the Swamp Thing TV show.
Oh, man!
And I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, you remember Dr. Arcane? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, I was his sidekick. And I'm like, I remember that.
Wow.
And it was, I met him. I met the dude from RoboCop, who the African American dude who was like, do you mind if I zip this up? That guy. He was at the First Glance Film Festival in Hollywood last year, and not the one that just passed, but the one previous to that. And it's like, it's amazing the people that you meet. And next week we have on Ryder Strong and his brother Shiloh Strong. Ryder Strong, you guys out there might remember as he was the Ben Savage's best friend on Boy Meets World. And so, yeah, man, it's just like, it's just weird how, like, all these people that I grew up watching on TV or in the movies now, it's like I get to interact with, and it just goes to show you that this is like it's the best job in the world.
You just sort of circle back. It's great. I mean, Pat, I met through social means, and I didn't realize that he'd been in Ernest Goes to Camp. He was a guy that I knew, and then I saw him in a movie called Waiting for Ophelia, which is a terrific little indie, and he was unbelievable. He was so good at it. And I was like, this guy is like one of the best actors I've ever seen. And I just happens to be a friend of mine. And he's been acting since he was a kid. Blaine, also a friend of mine, also I'm a big fan of his, so I thought I'm going to write up a piece of material for these two guys to be in. And so that's kind of how Favorite came about. I mean, I wrote it for them. And the premise of the movie is sort of based on the idea that you're good friends to help you move, but you're really good friends to help you move a body. And the idea, I wanted to explore sort of the nature of friendship. And it's about these two guys who've been friends literally since like junior high. They're both in their late 30s. And not that Blaine is. Blaine's playing older. It's just, I want to put that out there because Blaine's listening. Blaine is not in his late 30s, but we're gonna play him in his late 30s because he's an actor. He can do that. They're in their late 30s now, and one of the characters, Blaine's character, is having an affair on his wife, so on the side, and his mistress inadvertently dies. It's like falls and dies while they're together, and he's got to get rid of the body. You can't just call the cops. This whole thing will come out. So he turns to his friend, who helps him hide the body. And then what happens is it kind of creates this inequity in their friendship, and the whole thing spins out of control. And that's sort of what it's about. And what drew me to the idea was sort of what is the nature of friendship? I mean, how much is it about a connection, and how much is it about what someone else does for you?
Oh, no, and there's that sense of obligation, too. It's just like, and I think that in any friendship, there's someone who always puts in a little bit more into the relationship, and another person who takes a little bit more, and sometimes that's called marriage, and
We won't go there, Nick.
Yes.
I'm very happy. My wife is my producer, so
that's
great. When I have to go edit, she's not going, you have to go work? She's like, go work.
And you know what? I think while we're talking about family, now is probably a good time to also call out your daughter is in the chat room here. Yes. And for those of you guys who are watching, maybe not on FIlmSnobberyLive.com, we have a very active chat room over here. I encourage you to go on over to our site and chat in this chat room with us. So Bonzo Makes Movies is your daughter, and she's in the other room.
Yeah, she is. I'm in our TV room, and she's actually in her room across the hall. She tipped it in a while ago to grab her charger. She was in the room briefly. She's 13 and a half, and she does make movies.
Not really. And I just got through, when I was at South by Southwest in March, I got to see a girl, she just turned 18, she premiered her third feature film at South by. It's Emily Higgins who made, she was the girl who made her first movie at age 11.
Oh, no. Wow.
Yeah. She made her first zombie movie at age 11, and then they made a documentary called Zombie Girl about her. And if any of you guys haven't seen it, we have it reviewed over on FilmSnobbery.com. Definitely check it out. I became fascinated just by her. And as she's at South by Southwest with my sucky teen romance, I'm sitting there and I'm watching the movie, and she's 18, and she's completely just like the most adorable person you'd ever see in your life. I explained it to Jerry, I wasn't attracted to her, I just wanted to buy her school books. I wanted to take care of her, but she pulled, and you'll get a kick out of this, Paul. She pulled you see someone that young, and you kind of forget sometimes, especially that she's been making movies since she was 11. So I approached her while I was there, and we had featured her project on Film Snobbery here, and I went up to her. I was like, "It's finally great to meet you. I would really like to interview you while I'm here, if that's okay." And you'll get a kick out of this, Paul. She pulled the move. Here's my publicist card. Get in touch with them.
Wow.
Dude, I was blown away. I was just knocked back. I was just like, wow, I just got big timed.
Wow.
It was awesome.
That reminds me of that thing that was on theonion.com. They're interviewing the writer of Fast Five.
Uh-huh. Oh, the kid.
And it was like a 5-year-old kid.
Yes.
They kind of go boom, and they did boom. And it's unbelievably funny.
Oh, man.
That's what it's like. It's incredible. This girl's 11. She's 18 now. She's made 3 feature films, both the subject of a documentary. And Zombie Girl is not a small documentary. I mean, that thing's premiered in Park City.
Yep.
I believe it took our slot at Slamdance. And it played around the same circuit as that. I mean, it got into a lot of good festivals. It got a lot of great reviews. It's been well seen. So it's really the fact that she's got a publicist now. That just depresses me.
Yes, it doesn't it? I mean, even some people I know that are, much older or just even trying to get into the business, they're like, wow, what an overachiever. I feel like I've accomplished nothing in my life now. And I'm like, I know, right? I'm like, I'm not even making movies. I'm just talking about them, and I feel like I'm a slacker. But that, speaking of making movies, favor, and you decided to go and crowdfund this thing. You used Kickstarter. Now, I want also everyone to be on the lookout for an article in the current Movie Maker magazine that Paul wrote about crowdfunding. And now, why, and you probably addressed this, you may have addressed this at other times, but was there a reason why you chose Kickstarter over Indiegogo?
I did, actually. I did a lot of research on it. The article, when I wrote it, I mean, it just came out a few weeks ago, but I wrote it a few months ago, and it proved really good research for running on my own campaign. I was able to really kind of go in, and I talked to the founders, I talked to filmmakers who have been successful and filmmakers that have not been successful. Mm-hmm. Thank you again for the dollar, Jerry. And I learned a lot. And basically, the big distinction between Kickstarter and Indiegogo is that there's just more people on Kickstarter.
Okay.
I want you to think of it as beta and VHS.
Okay.
VHS won simply out of popularity, or Blu-ray and HD DVD.
Right.
Think of it that way. It just won the popularity race. So if for no other reason, there's just more people on Kickstarter.
So what you're saying is that Kickstarter equals pornography.
Oh, they won't let you do pornography on Kickstarter. I tried.
Oh.
No. But basically, it's there's just more traffic, and the sheer numbers on Movie Maker are. I'm sorry, Movie Maker. I'm talking to you. I'm pulling up Movie Maker. I'm trying to find the article so I can actually link it into the chat room.
Oh, nice. And I'm sure that I'm sure Jerry will do it as well, because I'm sure he has it somewhere.
Just done it. It's going on the chat room right now.
You mean the chat room of the popular podcast, Film Snobbery Live?
FIlmSnobbery is a popular podcast. There it is. Link's right there. You want to read? You can click it and read the article when we're done talking. Of course, everybody.
Nice.
Keep it up in your browser. But so with Kickstarter, the numbers are quite incredible. I mean, the thing launched in April of 2009,
mm-hmm.
and 2009 generated $8 million. In 2010. Hit $27 million. So, I mean, the numbers on Kickstarter outweigh those of Indiegogo. And also, Kickstarter put in this, the whole all or nothing deadline thing. I know that Indiegogo adopted the deadline down the road, but the all or nothing factor is still, I think is still a major contributor as to why people really put a lot more money, or I think why you're better off with Kickstarter. I mean, it's scary because if you don't meet your goal, obviously you don't get any money. And then you go, they just take a bigger chunk and you still get what you raised.
Has there been anyone who has failed so spectacularly in as much as, not like in a Jerry where no one gave a shit about it, but in a, like they failed by $5? Has there been?
I don't know.
I would love to hear of a project that failed by a very slim margin. And
I would not like to hear about that.
I want to hear about it more so just because, how did they handle that where they were so close and did they try again, or what's the story? On your story, you were trying to raise $20,000, and now what helped you determine, obviously the goal, and why did you, I mean, you have a track record at this point, 10 Till Noon, Official Rejection.
Right.
Why did you decide to crowdfund this rather than try to find traditional funding or anything like that, because you have movies behind you now that you could,
right.
Refer to kind of use in, for something like that?
That's a good question, and what it points up is what's true about indie filmmaking, which is when you're a studio director and you finish your film, you go to your next job. When you're an indie filmmaker and you're done, that's it. I mean, you're done and you have to start over from scratch. Only now you've used up all the people you know with money.
Right.
So going out and finding the money is actually harder and harder and harder each time you go out. Our investors on 10 Till Noon have not gotten their money back. Our investors on Official Rejection, it's just trickling in. Mm-hmm. So you can't go back to the same wells again.
Right.
And you scraped what you could before. So even though people may know your work, I mean, I think that you definitely, certain things are easier people trust you now. Actors trust you. Artists trust you. People want to be involved in you. Getting into festivals is certainly easier. I mean, you don't have to. You're not nobody. There's a lot of advantages to being a second, third, or fourth time filmmaker. But in terms of money, it's still very difficult. And everybody always the economy, but it's true. The economic downturn, there isn't the available cash anymore.
Right.
People that invest in indie movies do so, and the best people, I should say, that invest in indie movies do so because they have the extra cash and it's just sexy for them. Like to be a movie mogul that put their money in and let the artists do their thing. And God bless these people. These people are the people that should be investing in indie films because they're not going to hamper the artist, which is the whole point of indie film. But they're going to bring in the money and they're going to make it happen and they're going to come with enthusiasm and they're not going to worry about getting it back because films are a terrible investment. But right now there's a lot fewer of those people around who are willing to do that. In lockstep with this is the digital revolution, which allows you to make films cheaper. So that's sort of where we're going with it. We're trying to create a sustainable model where we can take a smaller amount of money, which can be raised through a more reliable means, i.e. crowdfunding, and make a smaller film, sort of what Ed Burns has been doing with his last couple of films.
Right. Now, and in terms of crowdfunding, I mean, you're already starting in a positive cash flow because at that point, there's nothing to pay back.
Right.
And so, yeah, I mean, I can understand. Now, the question I have is, did you find it to be more, as you were doing the research and preparing to do this project, did you find it to be harder or easier than you originally thought it was going to be? I mean, you met the goal, so obviously you were successful, so now you can kind of breathe a sigh of relief a little bit. But do you feel that there is, that wow, this took a lot more work than I was originally prepared to do, or I had some preconceptions that did not, that I didn't count on? Did you have to adjust your game plan at any time? I know that's a bunch of questions all at once, but do your best, and you're being timed. Go.
It was, it's funny. Like I did a lot of research on how to do it and what different people have tried, and it was hard. It's a lot of work. It wasn't harder than I thought it would be. It's exactly what I thought it would be in terms of the difficulty. But what you do is you try different things and you find some things are more successful than others. And at different times. Like I would go on a couple times a day onto Facebook and make sure I put up the link and make sure I put up a cute little thing, and you try to find different ways to phrase the same things. You have to keep the constant message of donate out there, but that's not enough because that becomes white noise after a while. You got to find other things to intrigue people. So, for example, Mark Bell at Film Threat was kind enough to let me blog about the Phoenix Film Festival this year. So every day I would put up a blog about that, and he would attach our Kickstarter link right up to it. And that was the week we launched. That was very helpful. So tangential things where you're out there, you're writing articles, you're blogging, or you're doing something else that just gets you in people's minds helps. Even if you're not talking about the campaign, because in the end of the day, no matter what the project is, they're investing in you. They're not really investing in your project. It's how much enthusiasm and passion you bring to it.
And
that's the number one thing.
That is something that I tried to drill into people's heads even when I was at South by Southwest doing Your Baby Is Ugly. And I told them, I told everyone at the thing there that, Kevin Smith doesn't make the best movies in the world. And I said, Cop Out sucked. And even he'll tell you he wasn't, proud of Cop Out. But that being said, he'll pack any venue he goes to because he has a dynamic personality, and that's one of the reasons why I love having people like yourself on the show, Paul, because you are a good personality, you know how to tell a story, you're passionate about what you do, and you're fun. I can't tell you there have been shows where I'm sitting there and I'm just like, I can't wait for this interview to end because this person has, they might be passionate about what they do behind closed doors, but they don't have that stage presence, so to speak. You know what I mean? Where, Kevin Smith goes up and he knows how to rile a crowd and tell a story and piece things together and be funny and eclectic. Gregarious, I think is a good word. Just like yourself. And some filmmakers just can't, I tell them, when you're writing a movie, you're telling two stories. You're making a movie, you're telling two stories: the story that's on the screen and the story behind the screen. And your story counts for a lot of that, because I think that you can actually make a crappier movie if you can sell it better.
It's true, although you should always try to make the best movie you can, and you shouldn't let the other stuff get in the way of that.
Right. No. Oh no. This isn't a pass for filmmakers. No. Believe me, I see enough shitty movies that that I would really love it if you would kind of do both. Be cool and good.
But you've touched on something that's interesting, and that's this more and more and more is becoming prevalent. There's a role, the indie filmmakers take on more roles than just directing. I mean, indie filmmakers have to take on everything: the caterer, the transportation. I mean, like the further you go down the indie chain, and the more the digital revolution comes about, indie filmmakers have to take on more and more and more hats. Mm-hmm. And one that not a lot of people talk about, but is really, really useful, and you just touched on this, is the indie filmmaker as politician.
Yes.
You have to go out and you have to glad hand. You got to show. You can't just I know filmmakers who are really passionate and bottle it up.
Yep.
And don't go out there and glad hand, and don't walk in the room and go and look someone in the eye and go, here you go, I'm a filmmaker and it's my movie and I love it and I'm so happy to be here.
I go to a film festival myself and I wear my press badge, my press pass right out in front of me all the time, and I think nothing, and ask Jerry, he's seen it, I think nothing of going up to a group of people I don't know and just being like, hi, my name's Nick, I'm from FIlmSnobbery, I'm a film critic and I do this other stuff. How you doing? What's your movie? Are you here with a movie? Blah, blah, blah. I see so many filmmakers that they stick in either the little clique of people that they know that they're with, or that they're nowhere to be found. I mean, Jerry was walking around. He was with press at Tribeca, and he did. However, he was kind of there as a filmmaker as well, even though he wasn't at Tribeca with a film. Which, P.S. Anytime you're anywhere, you're with your film. I don't care if your film was in the film festival or not. You're with your film all the time.
Yeah, no, it's true.
But he was running into people saying, like, you're the first filmmaker I've run into this entire festival.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I gave out copies of my film to all of them.
But I've heard that Tribeca is not a terribly filmmaker-friendly festival. That's what I've heard. I've never been to Tribeca, but I have heard that if you're a filmmaker at the festival, that unless you're one of the big filmmakers, that it's not a cakewalk. It's not fun. That's what I've heard. And
yeah.
Jerry, you can tell me what stories you've heard or not, or maybe you don't want to because they gave you a press badge. But I know that I've heard it's not a walk in the park. So.
Yeah. And now, let's go back to, favor. Now, you've raised the money. Do you have now, was this, for those of, us that haven't read every part of your description, was this to make the movie? Was this for finishing funds? Was this to get it out there for, festival submissions, stuff like that? I mean, give people like a little bit of the story of why you were, what you were kickstarting, I guess.
This is, it's production costs.
Okay.
We're not, and the Kickstarter's not the only money that's going in. We are also approaching traditional investors as well to make up the other half. But we're looking at around a $40,000 budget on the film. So the Kickstarter money is enough to get us going. We can now shoot.
Nice.
For sure. That's done. It was amazing. Yesterday we hit our goal 2 days early, and we hit it, and I was like, woo! And I was responding to texts, and I was on the web thanking people and stuff, and it suddenly hit me, and I was like, I just got greenlit. Mm-hmm. I mean, new film just got greenlit. I mean, really, truly greenlit. Like, the Kickstarter thing failed. We would have money for the means. We are approaching other investors, but like, the rubber stamp hit. Bam, we're gone. We're good. We're good to go. We can get through our production. And once we have something, we can approach investors from now until we're on post, and we're good to go. So that was kind of a spectacular moment, I gotta say. But it's strictly for production at this point. We're shooting with the A100, which is back. We're going to do it with a very small crew, and we are casting tomorrow. Additional cast, it's kind of nice. I don't know, we're good to roll. It's very excited. I'm also very excited to report that if you want to film in the desert near Barstow, it's only $100 for the permit.
Oh, really?
That's very exciting for me because we have big desert scenes, and I'm like, where the hell are we going to go in the desert? I don't want to guerrilla this and suddenly get shut down by state troopers out in the middle of nowhere who could do God knows what to me.
I actually know people in Barstow.
Do you?
I do. I know someone who owns a furniture store out in Barstow, and people who live out there who have come and stayed with us and hung out. So I guess I'll say hi to Sam for, if she was there. Now, I have to ask only because, and don't feel bad because your daughter's in the chat room. Better moment in your life, completing your first movie or the birth of your daughter?
Oh, wow. Which child?
Exactly.
You know, actually, I gotta say it's the daughter.
Oh.
I'm not saying she's in the room. My kids are everything.
Smart man.
Yeah, but I mean, like, completely, like, hey, nothing, not to not complete my movie. Believe me, that's what I'm here to do on Earth. But definitely, the birth of my daughter was mind blowing. That's a strange thing. I've been making movies since I was a kid, so finishing a feature was a really big deal. Finishing a real movie, but I'd finished smaller films. You don't make, home kids. Like you don't make pre-kids. You have your kid, and you can't believe that like biology works. That actually made a person. It's a strange, strange thing. And the second thing that occurs to you when your kid's born, you're overcome with emotion is, wow, this means death is probably also real.
Yeah.
Like, wow, birth, you can actually make people with your body. That's real? Yeah, you're probably going to die one day then. Damn it. That is a very strange thought.
But if you make a good movie and you get it to an audience, and it's one of those things where, that lives on, yeah.
Lives forever.
Lives forever. So let's go back a little bit here to you did your the Movie Maker article, and you now have completed, or at least you have a little bit of time left, but you've reached your goal with Favor. I do still encourage everybody to head on over to Kickstarter.com and check out Favor and donate a couple bucks still if you can, because first of all, if we hit 22K, we get a nice embarrassing photo of Mr. Osborne, and that would be awesome. And I would pay to see that, literally.
It's the thing. You can pay to see me humiliate. As I think I said to somebody, if you like me, it's going to be funny. If you like me, it's going to be funny. And if you don't know me, watching someone be humiliated is always entertaining. So it's still funny.
Exactly. Now, did you do any type of research in terms of also perks that are offered for the Kickstarter campaign or a crowdfunding campaign in general?
Oh my God! I just hit refresh on Kickstarter and went down $10. Wow! Someone's in trouble. I did actually. What I encourage you to do if you want to run your own campaign, either on Kickstarter or Indiegogo, is for several months become a backer. Back other people's projects. It's really easy to take. It's better to give. I mean, honestly, and the thing is, I still back projects. I have a problem because there's so many projects I want to back. I can't back them all.
Right.
But if you become a backer and then you start following the updates and you sort of see what works, you follow campaign and find one early. I would suggest going on, finding a movie you know nothing about that's launched a couple of days ago, that you don't know anybody that's connected to, just something that you think looks cool, and donate to that. There was a film called Locked in a Garage Band that I found just wandering through Kickstarter. I didn't know anybody involved in it. I donated $25 or $35 to it. And I watched it go, and they raised the same amount of money that we did, $20,000. And you learn a lot about how campaigns work. You learn and you watch how they ebb and flow. I mean, most campaigns raise most of their money in the last couple of days. And there's a lot of dry days in the middle. So it's good to sort of see that from other campaigns and then watch them either be successful or not. And you sort of learn what the patterns are, because there are days when no one's backed your campaign. And you get really scared, and you start to put it all in perspective. But if you've seen other campaigns go through the same thing that were successful, you sort of recognize it and go, okay, that's going to be okay. And you also kind of see what works in terms of filmmakers talking to their audience, to their updates. And if you're running a campaign, your updates are very important. You want to stay connected to those that backed you. You want to reward them for their faith in you and can keep them involved in the project. They care. And what's great is this whole all or nothing thing Kickstarter does. It generates serious suspense as these campaigns go. So I've seen campaigns that are a couple $1,000s short with a few hours to go, and everybody's on Twitter, come on, donate. And you refresh the page and you watch it go from hours to minutes, and you watch the numbers go up, and come on, it's very involving.
It's like waiting for your horse to come in, and you're like, come on, lucky
it's
seven.
It's like watching a sporting event for like film nerds like me. And then and then also with the rewards, you sort of look at the rewards that appeal to you. I usually do no reward, because I want the filmmakers to take the money and use it. But if there's things that you want on there, it's curious to see what's sort of appealing. If you decided on self-distribution at the outset, I think giving away your DVD or digital downloads is a really good idea. You're essentially pre-selling your movie. I think if you're doing $30, you get a DVD of the movie, or $30, you get a digital download of the movie. You're basically you're distributing your movie, but you're pre-selling it to your audience, so they get it. But if you do that, you're pretty much foregoing traditional distribution. Like if a distributor says, well, we want to buy your movie, but we saw that when you were raising money for it, you basically sold 500 copies, you've diluted your market.
Now, as someone who does, you kind of talking about distributors and stuff like that, and is your plan to kind of go the traditional festival route with this, or are you going to go to are you going to try smaller venues and self-distribute again, kind of like a official rejection type of thing, or do you have kind of a plan already mapped out for Favor?
We don't. Well, what we're going to do, the thing that the problem with mapping something out is that you don't know what the marketplace is going to be like.
Right.
Someone approached me about doing a documentary about distribution, sort of an official rejection sequel, and I said, the problem is it would take me so long to make the movie that by the time it came out, the information would no longer be valid. It's changing so quickly. So it's hard to say what it's going to be like in a year or a year and a half when this film's ready to go out and be sold. I do think we're going to do festivals just because between myself and Blaine, we have such a good relationship with so many that we could really take advantage of the circuit. I mean, we're not nobody anymore. We've been on it before. Him twice, me twice. He's got a new film coming out called 6 Month Rule, which is going to be playing some festivals probably. So we have a really good pool of festivals that already believe in us, that we can take the film to and not just be the blind submission. We have a good chance of getting in, and we have a good chance of getting featured. The audience there already know our work, and so it's got a good chance of getting good audiences and being seen and getting some good reviews. I should say getting reviews. I hope they're good, but I trust that they will be. But I think beyond that, we're not really sure, and that's why we didn't do DVDs of the movie or digital downloads of the finished movie as rewards on ours, because we may go the traditional distribution route. I mean, there may be other models that appear, and we don't want to dilute the potential audience. We don't want to pre-promise a form of distribution that we can't necessarily deliver on. If we're not going to self-distribute, we shouldn't offer copies up to backers, because that would be 260-some DVDs out there.
Right.
Out of maybe 2,000 units that they would sell.
Right. So, and those DVDs do cost money to produce as well. So and that's on top of the probably the review copies you're already going to give out, and festival screeners and all the other kind of fun stuff. So you could easily go churn through 500 or more DVD copies, and that costs dollars.
Right, it does. I mean, we did different kinds of rewards. And that leaves the door open for doing either traditional distribution or some sort of hybrid distribution. I think hybrid distribution is sort of, I see where it's going, because even if you technically self-distribute, you still have to partner with companies to carry your movie. You still have to deal with Amazon, and you have to deal with Netflix, who's becoming very indie unfriendly, by the way. You still have to deal with Hulu and iTunes, and often you have to go through an intermediary. And it's great that Ed Burns is doing what he did with Nice Guy Johnny. It's terrific. I mean, he was able to take a film that he made for $25,000 and do a festival run with it, and then release it through VOD, on demand, and DVD all at once. That's great. But don't for a second think, if he wasn't Ed Burns, this A-list actor and known indie director with a big track record going back 15 years and a Sundance alumni, that he would have had a shot in hell of getting that done.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, John Sloss arranged all that for him. John Sloss, it's harder to get into John Sloss to represent you than it is to get into Sundance. I mean, he's the top guy. He arranged all these deals with Time Warner and all these companies, but
he's been working with Kevin Smith for years. That's Kevin Smith's lawyer.
Right.
So,
but here's John Sloss is the #1 sales rep, indie sales rep in the world.
Yes, sir.
And he is everything he touches turns to sold. Put it that way. But I think that with Ed Burns sort of doing this, it legitimizes this method. It legitimizes this sort of hybrid process. And the hope is that as it seemed to be successful, other companies will emerge that will go, hey, we'll negotiate with Time Warner for you, and we'll negotiate with Comcast, and we'll get you an on-demand deal, and we'll get you into Netflix. And they'll sort of these hybrid processes where there's sort of a service that does these things for you that a distributor would do, but you retain all the rights and you get your slice of the pie. Now, of course, what's going to happen is that's actually how distribution was supposed to work originally. before they began to rig the tables. And if these hybrid companies come about, eventually that's going to happen again, and it's going to have to change again. So it's sort of a cyclical thing. I think the biggest problem is that artists, actors, filmmakers, musicians will do this for free.
Yeah.
We're not about the money in the end. I mean, the money's just basically so we can eat and keep doing it.
I was going to say, it seems like less about the money in the end run, but more about the money to continue doing it.
That's all it is. If I get to sustain myself doing this, I mean, if I had a patron just to make movies, I'll pay your expenses, you'll never actually accumulate any money, I would be completely fine with that.
Yep.
That's the thing. Like the business world, it's not a conscious thing. But because artists will work for free, the business world always sort of slowly rigs the table so that the people who aren't actually making the art make all the money. Lawyers, agents, distributors. Distributors, I mean, think about what this is. Distributor takes a movie, the last millimeter of a 1,000-mile journey, and they get all the money. I mean, all the money has to go through them, and it's up to their goodwill, really, to whether to pass it back to the filmmaker.
Yep.
It's really an astonishing system, and they've rigged it so that everybody's relying on a distributor because the distributor is the only one that sort of knows how to get over the mountain because they have a certain amount of material coming through, they have these channels, and the outlets want to deal with people who have an established business model and an established amount of quote-unquote product. I hate when people use the term product to refer to films, but for the distributor it's applicable. They have a certain amount of product coming through that they want to, okay, we'll move this. And they look at it as a purely business decision. And the filmmakers who did the actual work kind of get screwed. Unfortunately, it's always a cycle of that, I think.
Yes.
But I think we're in a place where these old distributors are kind of being wished away and there's something new coming out. And it's not as easy as a lot of people say it is to self-distribute. You do have to partner with other people, and it becomes more of a hybrid piecemeal distribution situation, but who knows what it will be in a year or two. Yep. Kevin Smith and Ed Burns, you can't do what they do because you're not them, but thank God they're doing it because I think they're going to hurry about a revolution or a change that really needs to happen.
I agree. I actually do agree with that. And, you're known for, obviously, you've got a great reputation with some and not with others, depending on who's seen official rejection or not. And but you tend to work a lot with your friends and people that you trust. And I've always found that this community of independent filmmakers, especially the there's a few hundred of them specifically on Twitter that seem to have a fairly close community. Do you feel is there an advantage? Do you find a lot of advantages working with your friends, and do you find it easy to trust people, as you meet them either online or you continue to start working with them or anything like that? I mean, have you run into a few bad eggs on it as well, and people that wow, that person wasn't who I thought he was, or stuff like that, or because it seems to be an industry of goodwill. A lot of it, and also of an industry of people who are like I'm an actor. Well, I happen to be a director. Well, that's great. We should work together sometime.
I think I do find that most people are pretty cool, but you never know. I've met people who turn out to be very different than they said they seem to be, and they'll fool you sometimes for years. So if you're working with friends, first of all, you should only work with friends if you think they're actually talented, and if it makes sense to do it. I've got lots of really talented actor friends I would love to put in favor, and there's just no roles for them. And I'm not going to create roles for them and create create an inferior movie. Mm-hmm. The movie is the screenplay is exactly as it needs to be. If I started throwing in role for my buddy Gary Weeks, for example, who's a terrific actor. I would love to work with Gary. Now I realize I got to write something for Gary, but there's no role for Gary in this movie. And if I just throw in a role for Gary, well, then that's every character in that film is there for a specific purpose and reason in the story. So you should only work with friends when it makes sense, if they're talented as well, and if it makes sense on that project to work with them, which means I have a small pool of people that I'm working with, and also a larger kind of pool of people over here that I would like to work with one day, and hopefully will.
And this show, he's slumming it right now.
So there's that. But also, if you work with friends, and working with friends, if they're talented, working with friends is great because you already have a shorthand. There's already a built-in creative trust and financial trust, and those things are great. But you should always still get it in writing. You should always get it on paper. Everybody should be protected because sometimes, every once in a while, there's some douchebag you didn't know was a douchebag.
Yep.
And suddenly pulls the douchebag card on you. And I've seen so many movies and so many projects go down. A friend of mine wrote a great screenplay about the Reagan era, about the CIA during the 80s. And it was a fantastic script. He wrote it co-wrote with somebody, and the co-writer tried to take away the script, tried to do revisions of that, and tried to sell it without him. They ended up going to a lawyer, and it's still going on. It's been like 8 years, and this script is never going to see the light of day because this guy has decided to go rogue.
Huh.
And unless my friend just gives up the script,
And that's unfortunate too, because I mean, at that point, you're not necessarily even just screwing with the guy who created the script. I mean, you're screwing with the potential production of people, like it could have tens of hundreds of people or dozens of people involved in creating something that that person, it might have been the brainchild of that person, but that, I mean, if you really want to look long tail on it or long term, I mean, you're technically taking jobs away from people. You're taking money out of people's and food out of people's mouths, and also the opportunity to get noticed for other people and the writers, directors, etc. So
yeah, I know so many. My buddy Scott Storm on his new movie, We Run Shit. It's a documentary he did, and they're having problems. They may not be able to release it because of internal squabblings and difficulties, because things weren't put down on paper first. So it's always important to put down in writing what you're doing.
Yeah, I agree, and there have actually been times even in what we do that I felt the same way. But I want to, again, encourage everyone to head on over to Kickstarter.com, check out Favor. Yes, they reached their goal, but that doesn't mean they can't reach higher. So even if you guys...
Yeah, $20,000. We can make a movie on that, but we can make even a better movie on $21,000.
That is true. And I always tell people, we understand that for a lot of people money's tight, and sometimes the best thing that you can give people if you don't have money is time and a little effort. So if you think that other people might be interested in Favor, you can go ahead and tweet out or Facebook this project, and or just mention it to other people. We still got a couple of days. We have a couple days left.
23 hours.
23 hours, less than a day. Less than a day left, people, and to get this. And this ain't PBS. I have a tote bag, but it's not for sale. Got it from one of my favorite film festivals. Second favorite film festival, the New Hampshire Film Festival. Which, by the way, Paul, if you're ever up in this neck of the woods, I highly recommend you try to catch.
New Hampshire Film Festival.
I gotta tell you, man, it is. Epic is a good word for it. It's like a mini Sundance over here. They take over the entire town of Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Last year they had like 9,000 attendees in a town that has maybe 3,000 people in it at any given time. And it's a lot of homegrown movies, really good panels. Everything is within walking distance. But here's the other thing, and this is the most important for the filmmakers. Every movie I went to try to see there last year, I couldn't get into because it was, even standing room only was sold out.
Are you serious?
I shit you not.
I love hearing this kind of stuff.
And it's such a great atmosphere. Great atmosphere. The people who run it are really positive people, and there's no like scary undercurrent or anything like that of it. Like, you never hear anything like, oh, did you hear about the scandal behind the scenes or whatever. There's none of that. It's just a party, and everyone's kind of cool. Yeah, I'd say my first favorite is the First Glance Film Festival, which you guys all know out there because we pimp them so hard. But the second favorite is the New Hampshire Film Festival.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. I recommend everybody out there they submit to that, because that's all you really need from a film festival.
Yep. And that being said, for those of you guys out there who do have a movie and you are looking to get it in front of an audience, we as well are. We do have an independent film screening series. We're starting it back up again this month. I believe the next screening is May 23rd over at the Elm Draft House Theater in Millbury, Massachusetts. We will be making the announcements of all the movies that we'll be playing very shortly, but it'll be a feature and a couple of shorts. If you guys want to submit your films to it, the the submission fee is $10. And that's, yeah, you know, I felt bad even charging, but then it's like, you know, Kinko's ain't cheap.
No, look, $10 to submit is pretty fair.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a $70 fee.
No.
That pretty much covers your operating costs.
Yeah.
Didn't Gary King play a film there at your film series?
Who was it?
Gary King?
Gary King, yeah, he played What's Up Lovely. He played in February.
There you go. So you're paying quality people. You're curating well.
Yeah,
Gary.
we played some great films. We had one that we were gonna play this month that we might have to delay just because that person's having some family issues, and we want to make sure to be sensitive to that. So, but we're looking for, you know, we may be looking for another movie to program, and we'll be making the announcements probably this week and or by the end of the week, and you know, weekend. And I'm really looking forward to, because in Millbury, Mass, in the Worcester County, which is where we are, it's a big college area. We have 10 colleges in Worcester, and this particular theater seats about 300 people, and they serve alcohol. So, if we play our cards right, this puppy is sold out, and tickets are $5. Tickets are $5 at the door, and actually the food and the beverages are actually relatively inexpensive as well. It is cash only, but they're really good people. It's a independently owned theater, and they've been kind enough to let us in there, and I'm really looking forward to it. And that being said, Paul, I can't thank you enough for coming on in and again and being awesome and getting the crowd riled up and getting everyone kind of interested in favor, and also kind of, you know, I still got to thank you again for Official Rejection, because it's something I watch regularly, and I really, people don't believe me when I tell them about it, and then I'm like, just watch it. You know?
Dude, no, man, thank you. Thank you for having me on while our campaign's still running, and always thank you for pimping my movie. I love that.
Anytime, man, and you know, hopefully when Favor gets completed, we'll get to take a look at it, and you know, hopefully it doesn't, you know, hopefully it doesn't suck, and no. And you know, I mean, come on, some do, some don't. No, but no, hopefully, hopefully it's cool.
That campaign, and I'm like, wow, people believed in me. $20,000 worth of people believed in me. I really better make a not sucky movie.
There's a little pressure there now, isn't it? Because, you know, when you have investors, it's like you're more like, okay, this movie has to do well because I have to get their money back. When it's crowdfunded, it's like, oh my God, this movie has to be good because these people actively can. Yeah, I think there's a little bit of a paradigm shift there in your end result. You're making it for the audience. I mean, for you too. I mean, and that was another one of the things I like about.
They're like, the eyeballs are on it now.
Yeah, and you know, and I'm going to say to the audience here too, you know, that's one of the things I also like about Paul. You know, he's one of the most egoless filmmakers out there, and I mean that in a positive way. I mean, there are a lot of filmmakers out there that I talk to that they let their ego get in the way of their filmmaking, and they make things for themselves versus making it to be seen, and which again was the kind of the crux for Your Baby Is Ugly, and Paul has always struck me as a guy who's like, nah, I'd rather make stuff that entertain people, and I'd rather, you know, he's always been more interested in I'm talking to him like he's not here, but he always seems like he's been more interested in you know, getting to the root of stuff and being honest and open and transparent about everything. And you know, you can check out his Movie Maker article in this current issue. You know, you can check out what he's been doing with Favor over also at favormovie.com, also on Kickstarter, obviously, like we've been saying. Follow him on Twitter at Paul Makes Movies, twitter.com/Paul Makes Movies. And, you know, kind of just keep up on what's it. And if you guys haven't checked out Official Rejection yet, you have to. If you're a filmmaker who goes to film festivals, or you are a filmmaker who's about to go to film festivals, it's a really great insider look. And Paul is just, it's always great having you on. I gotta.
Thanks, Ben.
Thank you.
I love being on. I love being on your very popular podcast.
Very popular. Thank you, sir, and good luck with Favor and the production and getting everything done. Please keep us updated, and hopefully when it gets released, we'll have you back on and we'll chat some more about it. And hopefully maybe if it meets our high standards, and bear in mind we'll be showing Stuck Like Chuck, so we have low standards. Maybe we can get it in front of our audience at a FIlmSnobbery Presents event, and that would be great. And we are going to be showing Jerry's movie. Not this month, next month.
Everybody should see it, by the way.
if you were to show, if you had to pick between mine or Paul's, I would go with Paul's.
Oh yeah, so would I.
I'd go with official rejection.
Yeah, I'm going with yours, Jerry. There's a word here called default, and that exemplifies my choice because you're the default selection because no one else has applied yet. No. But no, I would play Jerry's movie anyway. I think Jerry's movie is a summer movie. It's a college town. It's a movie about kids in college, and I could
be drunk so they'll enjoy it.
Totally, exactly. Come on. So again, sir, thank you again, Mr. Osborne, for coming on and
so much.
Have a good one, sir, and we'll chat with you again soon.
Yes, you will. Thank you so much, Nick. Thanks, Jerry.
Anytime.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Good luck with the rest of the campaign.
All right, so that was our guest, Paul Osborne, and again, go check him out on Kickstarter.com. Check out Favor. We want to then, we went kind of over on this show because we were so excited to finally have an internet connection that works. What we are going to talk about our Indiegogo project of the week. I do want to go get to that. Before I do that, I actually want to go ahead and I want to throw a little bone out to our good friends at Indie Picks Unlimited, and then when we come back, we'll be starting the contest. We'll be having our contest, which also ties in nicely with our guest for tonight, Paul Osborne, who wrote a wrote a article for Movie Maker magazine. Well, guess what? We're giving away a 1-year subscription to Movie Maker magazine, courtesy of First Glance Film Festival. When we come back from our little break here, Jerry Cavallaro, co-host, will tell you guys how you can win. So stick around. We'll be right back. All right, everyone, we're back, and that was our little ad for Indie Picks Unlimited. If you guys do want to sign up for your 1-month free trial, you can click the link, the banner that's below the chat, a little bit further down the page. Check it out. They're like the Netflix for independent film. If Netflix has shitty independent film selections, these guys, that's what they're all about. So if you're looking for some cool titles, I've scoped them out myself. I've got a subscription. They've got some really good titles up there. I'll actually be, hopefully the idea is that I'll be reviewing some of those titles in the very near future, so that we can, give you guys a little bit more information on what's available out there. But what I want to talk to you guys about right now, and actually I'm going to defer over to Mr. Jerry Cavallaro for our contest for this week, a giveaway for a 1-year free subscription to Movie Maker magazine, which Mr. Cavallaro has a little bit in. He's a part of the article that was written by our guest tonight, Paul Osborne, about crowdfunding, and we're mentioned a very little one-sentence thing as well, which is cool. So Jerry, what did we come up with for a contest for this week?
Okay, so for the contest for the week, you have to be quick with your tweets. I'm just going to put something in the chat room right now. The first person to tweet it out will win a 1-year subscription to Movie Maker magazine. So I'm putting it in the chat right now. And First Glance Film, I hope you do like it. It's mentions you, so Basically, just be the first person to tweet it out, and you'll win. So copy and paste it or type it really fast.
Okay, and I'm going to read off what it is. It says, watching at FIlmSnobbery live and just found out the first glance film deadline is coming up. Get your films in now with a link. Now, that being said, the deadline he's talking about is for the call for entries for the First Glance Philadelphia Film Festival. If you guys remember, First Glance is a bi-coastal festival. They have one in Hollywood, and they have another one in Philadelphia. Their late deadline is coming up for May 14th, but they're also, if you missed that one, there is a Without a Box extended deadline for June 14th. So, you have two different chances to be able to submit. Now, again, I've said that the New Hampshire Film Festival is my second favorite film festival. First Glance Film Festival is my first favorite. I've covered it twice now, once in Hollywood and once in Philadelphia. In Philadelphia, it's at the Franklin Institute. Great venue. This theater is just amazing, and it's right in the heart of downtown Philadelphia. Our good friend here, Bill Ostroff, the festival director, knows how to throw a party, a good after party. He's got some great selections of films. We've screened a few of his selections for his First Glance Hollywood that just passed. We screened Sudden Death, which is a comedy musical that they showed there as well. We've also screened previous Hollywood screen there as well, Meth, which is a short by Michael Maney that I showed it at our FIlmSnobbery Presents while we were at the Palace, and I love that movie. I think it's a really well done movie. Jerry, what did you think of that movie?
Meth. I really enjoyed that one. I remember I asked you to have the DVD afterwards because you said you had an extra and I didn't get it. That's how much I enjoyed it. So
there you go.
Yeah, I'd like to see it again because I missed some of the dialogue in the beginning because I had to stick in the projection booth.
Yes. Jerry liked it so much.
I'm just trying to use as much of my time as possible.
Jerry liked that movie so much that he tried to get a free copy of it from me. But what we're gonna do is, Jerry, just keep tabs in Twitter if you could on.
We have a winner. I'm just checking the timeline to see because two people tweeted out. Well, one person has a private account.
Oh.
So I just want to make sure who got it first.
Okay, now that. But we're not revealing it. We're not revealing the winner now. We're going to reveal the winner at the end of the show, so you guys have to stick around to see if you won. Jerry, hold on to that. I'll cue you again when we're going to do it. But what I want to talk about now is our Indiegogo project of the week. Our Indiegogo project of the week is followed by James. It's on the freaking screen, people. I can't read tonight, and it's getting late because we've gone a little over in our show. I love it. But it's by James Kicklighter, and he's on Twitter. He's at James Kick. You can actually check this out, www.indiegogo.com/followed, and they've got a very easy goal. They've got a $5,000 goal, and they've already raised a little over $1,200. So they're a good way, part of the way there. I highly recommend if you're going to donate to one project tonight and you're deciding between Favor and Followed, make that decision because they've Followed only has 4 days left and Favor has 23 hours left. So decisions. But Followed, definitely check it out. I'm going to play you guys their pitch video, which I believe is a trailer for Followed. I'm going to play it for you right now, and when we come back, we'll wrap up a little bit here, and we'll announce the winner of our little contest from First Glance Films for their 1-year subscription to Movie Maker magazine, which includes an article written by tonight's guest. So see how all of that stuff ties in? I love it. It's a beautiful thing. So you guys hang in there, and hopefully you guys enjoy the little trailer here for Followed, and when we come back, we'll deal with the rest. So stick around. And we're back, and again, that was followed. Hopefully, you guys dig that, and you dig it enough to give a couple bucks. And again, we've said it before while Paul was on the line. We're going to say it again now. If you can't give money, give time. Give it a tweet. Give it a Facebook like. Check them out. Again, you can follow James at James Kick on Twitter, and he's the director. It looks like a really interesting project, and that's one of the reasons why I picked it, as well as the fact that, obviously he said, hey, would you mind checking out our project and possibly giving it a shout out? And I really respect it when filmmakers come out and they're social and engaged, and they're like, I would really like it if you'd help me promote my stuff. I'd really like it if you could help me with this, that, and the other thing. That's what we're here for, and I'm surprised a lot of times that filmmakers don't take as much advantage as they do. I don't know if you guys knew this, but if you get a successful campaign, if you have a successful campaign on Indiegogo, did you know that you're eligible to get an extra free hour of consultation from myself here at FilmSnobbery, because we are FilmSnobbery is a partner of Indiegogo, and that's part of what we do in exchange. We pimp out some of their projects, and we also offer some consulting, and in turn they we're a partner of theirs, and they include us in a lot of things that they do as well. So there you go. So if you have a successful project on Indiegogo, you could be talking with the Film Snob and hopefully getting a little bit of information on how to get yourself and your movie out there a little bit better or a little quicker. Maybe get get some advice on some different things. I'm not a complete idiot. I say complete because I do still pal around with Jerry Cavallaro. But that being said, Jerry Cavallaro is going to fulfill his usefulness tonight, and he's going to give us and then make an announcement of the winner of our First Glance Film sponsored little giveaway tonight for a free one-year subscription to Movie Maker magazine. Which, by the way, if you guys don't have a Movie Maker subscription and you guys don't win tonight, fret not, because you guys can actually go to moviemaker.com/subscribe/filmsnobbery, and you can actually get a one-year subscription of your own for $6. How do you like them apples? Applesauce, bitch. It's awesome. All right, Jerry.
I like those apples because that's almost as cheap as just buying one issue.
I agree, and you get a whole year. So,
yeah.
But someone tonight is going to get a whole year for nothing. And Jerry, who is it?
Well, not for nothing, for having to endure us ramble and babble on. Legendary T-Shell will be getting a one-year subscription for enduring that.
Legendary T-Shell. Awesome, awesome. All right.
Congratulations. So he beat Social Cartographer, Social Mapper by like a few seconds after I compared the streams. So, sorry to Social Photographer, but congrats, Legendary T-Shell.
All right, Legendary. So here's what you're going to do. I don't know if Bill Ostroff, who's in the actual, he's in the chat now, is First Glance Film. I don't know if he's going to have you email him directly, or if you need to email me, you can feel free to over admin@filmsnobbery.com. The link is obviously on the front page of our website and stuff like that, down in the footer, or you can contact us or whatever. So we're very easy to get a hold of, or you can always send us a tweet or something like that. Whatever. But
I have breaking news.
Breaking news?
Yeah. First Glance Film wants to give it to both of them.
What?
So, congratulations to the Social Mapper / Social Cartographer, depending on how he's in the chat room right now.
This just in from director Jerry Cavallaro. I have no earpiece. Well, that's awesome. So thank you again to the generosity of the First Glance Film Festival. And this is part of the reason why they're awesome to deal with. They give away thousands of dollars in prizes at their festivals, including distribution opportunities and just tons of software. And they also have cool T-shirts. I'm not wearing mine right now. I wore mine the other night when we were talking about the little incident that was happening on Twitter recently that we found out about, and we were having a conversation with Mr. Miles Maker about, and that being said, so congratulations to both of you. We'll figure out a way for you guys to get your information over to us or over to Bill. Again, you can email us directly, admin@filmsnobbery.com. You can feel free to, what I need from there is, email address, which obviously if you're emailing me, I'll have, street address, name, probably contact phone number, something like that. All your information that you would need to sign up for like a magazine subscription. So just have that stuff ready, and that'll be it. That kind of brings brings us to the end of the show for the night. I want to thank everyone for bearing with the initial technical difficulties, but looks like the stream went really well tonight. I definitely welcome your feedback out there. I want to thank everyone who's in the chat room tonight, everyone who showed up. I want to thank our guest, Paul Osborne, director, and I want to thank Mr. Jerry Cavallaro, as always, for suffering through my bullshit. And I want you guys to all join us again, same time, same bat channel and whatnot, over at FIlmSnobberyLive.com next Thursday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have Ryder and Shiloh Strong, directors, actors, of their latest release, The Dungeon Master, which just played at Tribeca. And they're going to talk about that. They're going to talk a little bit about, their careers and what's going on there. And we'll have another contest, most likely. We'll have a little bit more to talk about. We'll have another Indiegogo Project of the Week. And unfortunately for all of you out there, you'll have me. So I want to thank everyone for coming again tonight, and I want to wish all of you a good week, and we'll see you next time. So, Jerry, do you have anything to say on our way out?
Nope, you rambled enough.
I rambled enough, so...
Yeah. Have a good week, everyone.
Have a week, people. Although I can't use that. That's Kevin Smith's. So, we need a sign-off.
Why have a good sign-off?
We need a sign-off. We don't. That's the thing. You know what? That should be another contest maybe next week. Whoever gives us the best sign-off will win some other prize. Because that's what we don't have.
Planet Earth.
Yeah, stay classy, planet Earth. No, see, no, that doesn't work. We need a good one. So maybe we'll think about that for a contest for next week. Stick that one in your craw and start thinking about it. So, good night, everyone.